My name is Do Not Obey, and let's get started. Let's get it. All right, guys, what's up? It's me, Do Not Obey, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys like a small series, I guess, to where I'm looking into cases that may be possibly connected to MK Ultra, allegedly. Okay, so let's just jump right into this. So, a lady by the name of Velma, back in 1956, checked herself into a psychiatric clinic. Okay, now this was at Memorial Institute in Canada. Now, this is for her postpartum depression. Keep that in mind. That's the only thing that I have seen that she has suffered from, along with her family members. Now, this article was brought to us by her granddaughter that kind of broke out the information, I guess, that has to deal with their family and with what she's seen her grandmother go through as a child and whatnot, right? So it says that she was in and out of the clinic for about 3 years, but instead of her getting better, she started to decline. Like it wasn't like anything, it wasn't helping her at all. If anything, she probably should have never had went, right? So more than 2 decades passed, and before Johnson and her family had an explanation, it was much stranger than any of them could imagine. Now, back in 1977, it emerged that the CIA had been funding experiments, which I believe allegedly, hypothetically, was taken from Hitler. That the CIA had been funding experiments in mind control, brainwashing at the Institute, as a part of a North American widespread project known as MK Ultra. At the time, the U.S. agency was scrambling to defend its understanding of brainwashing because I believe Hitler was already on it. He had it all. I think he understood it all, in a sense of me saying he had it all. He had it all understood. That's what the threat also was. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say allegedly, hypothetically, the same things that I guess the U.S. is saying or taught us that they were afraid of that Hitler was going to do. I just feel that they took everything that he was going to do, all the technology, all the information, everything that he's been researching, from spirituality to AIs. And it's all over here, along with every, connected with every probably other high government person in the world. But I'm just saying. Now, so it says after the brainwashing, a handful of Americans captured during the Korean War, had publicly praised communism and denounced the U.S. Kind of sounds like the so-called freedom of speech. Oh, no, excuse me. The alleged, hypothetically, no freedom of speech that we may not have, but we do have it. Now, in 1957, the interests brought the agency north of the border were a Scottish psychiatrist. Mr. Cameron was trying to discover whether doctors could erase a person's mind and instill a new pattern of behavior. And that just makes me think about certain people that may do things strange, and they may not have a history of any type of violence or or anything, and then one day they just snap, or like a mother that has no type of depression or no type of any type of schizophrenia or anything, documented or people have ever noticed in her life, their lives, and then she wakes up one day and maybe does something strange to her children. I mean, I just think about stuff like that. I don't think people just wake up and just snap. I really don't. So in 1957, like I said, the interest was brought through a psychiatrist called Mr. Cameron, right? Now, he was trying to discover whether doctors can erase the mind. Now, Mrs. V, I'm going to call her that, the story is about her, was one of several hundred patients who became subjects to these experiments. Now, this was back in the early 1950s and 60s, and to me, that's not too long ago. I'm just saying. It's almost impossible, said her granddaughter, Sarah Ann Johnson. Now, after her grandmother died, the granddaughter began reading up on the Institute and developing information out of her grandmother's journal and court documents. Now, some of the things that he did to his patients, which the doctor's name, I believe, when we get down in the article, is West. No, I don't know if it's a West. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I think it's another case, which I'll be bringing you guys. But some of the things that the doctor did to his patients were so horrible and unbelievable that it sounds like the stuff out of nightmares, right? Patients were subject to high voltage electroshock therapy several times a day, forced into drug-induced comas. Forced into drug-induced coma sleeps that could last months, and injected with a mega dose of LSD. You're not only being subject to inhumane things as being a human. Who cares about color? I just wish the world would see that. I believe that we're all expendable unless you're somebody that is somebody that knows somebody or you're connected to somebody, right? But anyway, so after reducing them to a childlike state, at times stripping them of basic skills of just how to dress, man. How to tie their shoes, how to put on a shirt, simple things our toddlers learn, right? Or we learned as toddlers. Cameron would attempt to reprogram them. So this is Mr. Cameron. Sorry if I confuse you guys. Cameron, the doctor, which was the doctor of Mrs. V, would attempt to reprogram them. So he's taking logical, sensible to me people, even if you do have a disability, you're still human, right? And whatever skills you do have, those are yours. And all you should be able to do is grow, not have something taken from you, right? So he's going to reprogram you to give you everything back that you already was God-given learning from the beginning of your time span. So he would attempt to reprogram them by bombarding them with recorded messages for up to 16 hours. First came negative messages, followed by positive ones. In some cases, repeated up to 500,000 times. If you wasn't crazy when you went there, I bet your ass sure in hell you'd be crazy when you left. He couldn't get his patients to listen to them. So he would put speakers in football helmets and lock them on their heads, said Johnson. They were going crazy, banging their heads into walls. So he then figured he could put them in a drug-induced coma and play the tapes as long as he needed. So instead of watching you try to hurt yourself, possibly take yourself out, and then you'll be no use to the program, right? Because you're just human. We're going to put you asleep because whatever we need to do to you, we've got to get it done, no matter how bad it's going to be. Let me just put you to sleep. So when you wake up, you're just You're nutty as hell. As long with insensitive electroshock therapy, Johnson's grandmother was given injections of LSD on 14 occasions. Now, this is all alleged, okay? She said that it made her feel like her bones were melting. She said, I don't want this, said Johnson. And the doctors and nurses will say to her, you're a bad wife. Reverse psychology. You're a bad mother. If you wanted to get better, you would do this for your family. Think about your daughter. I don't know, like I said, what is going on in the world. What I may know, what I may not know, what I may think, what may be inside me that's not brought out yet. But I really feel that the statement is true, that we're not dealing with flesh in this world. We have never been. We've been dealing with principalities. Now, Johnson's grandmother died when she was 13 years old. So with all this, it drove her granddaughter to find out information about what she's seen happening to her grandma, her nana, you know? It makes you just think about how many more cases are out there, and I found a lot. I'm not saying all these are connected to MK Ultra, but a lot of them have scientists, doctors, facilities that after the fact or during the fact, research was released that connect them to the program, which was started by Hitler, which was stolen allegedly, hypothetically, in my opinion, by the US. And they're just doing the same thing that he was going to be doing or was going to do, right? Maybe this will be another topic if you guys want to talk about it. I don't know how to go with it, but what if Hitler was under MK Ultra? And he was also a person in history that had to be a scapegoat for depopulation. Well, with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I always say, do not obey, stay woke.